Hi everyone, my name is Arina and welcome to the NORDINARY Show, the podcast where extraordinary business owners will tell us about their experience and share with us what kind of mistake they made or not when they try to build their business. Will be very interesting. Let's speak about the real business. Hi, welcome to the NORDINARY Show. My name is Arina. I'm the founder of the NORDINARY Branding Agency. Today, our guest is Dorian Gorski, the founder of Keplo. Hi, Dorian.
Hi, Arina. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy to see you. Tell us a little bit more about the Keplo. What kind of service do you provide, and etc.
Well, it's a new venture. We're only just starting. We're only just kicking off our beta. Um, I can tell you a little bit about our vision, our long-term vision, and kind of what Kepler is at the moment. So our long-term vision is to bridge the gap between data and creativity. I think, especially right now in the era of AI and LLMs, we have abundance of creativity, and especially AI can be very creative. AI has no boundaries when it comes to creativity, and we've seen a lot of examples of that when you see just these amazing images, or it can write books, or it can write a song, it can perform as an artist. So there's abundance of creativity, but what our goal is to really steer this creativity in the right way and help people to make things with it that really have an impact on their business. And one of those things is obviously, for example, product development. So Kepler, at this stage, we're releasing a couple of features. One of those is basically coming up with product improvement ideas. So it takes a vast amount of data from Amazon, mostly reviews. It scans and reads every single review, and then puts together an very in-depth analysis, and it's able to answer questions like who's using your product, how do they use that product, what is it that they like about it, what is it that they dislike about it. And then we've also trained it on vast amount of data and knowledge around product industrial design, product development. So based on that data, based on the fact that it knows who's using the product, how do they use, and understands the gaps and issues with product, it's able to give you very detailed answers regarding product improvement suggestions. So it's able to really think as a product designer, but it's all based on the real life data. So coming up, it can come up with hundreds of ideas around product development, around one single feature, but it's not made up. It's not a hallucination. It's actually all based on data.
That sounds really good, because I think it's could be help not only the business owner, like sellers or marketers who help sellers to create the product, but also for designers. Why not? Because before, for example, as you know, we also do the branding and packaging design, and before we start, we do the analysis, because without that, we can offer something to our client. It could be designed by design, but not about the solution which help to sales in future. And I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah, especially one of those things that we're also working on in the background are tools for branding as well. So hence why if you go on kepler.com right now, you'll see what our slogan is, which is around brand and product development. Because brand, it's also that data that we gather right now, it's also very useful for brand development. And you probably know this, how important it is to tailor the brand around that specific one user, that's super hyper focused to understand what the pain points are, what is it that they care about, and also what is that they don't care about at the end of the day. So you can use that data, you can use those information to craft very very targeted and very specific brand messages.
Yeah, sounds really, really good. Okay, can we back a little bit earlier? Very beginning at your entrepreneur journey. As I know, before the Keplo, you had a different experience. Tell us about your background.
Okay.
What was your first business?
Oh, it's been a few years. So let me. I don't know how far do you wanna go.
You can start at very beginning, because some of our partners and my guests start when they was 10, 15 years old, and of course it's also a very interesting story usually, but
Okay.
you can share with us the first, I think, the first point when you decided that, yes, I'm going to the right stage.
Okay. So I guess I was always a daydreamer. I was always drawing a lot, drawing and just staring into a blank wall. I was a very introverted kid. I'm still very introverted. The best time for me is just literally sitting and looking at the sky and thinking about coming up with stuff. So just very like my imagination is probably like my best friend. So and when what I grew up in Poland. But then when I was a teenager, we moved to London, and that's where I studied graphic design. First graphic design, and then I studied fine arts at the London Metropolitan University, and that's where I was. Oh, my imagination could run wild. I could make anything I want. But very clearly, I understood that in order to monetize my craft, I needed to come up with a business idea. And I did see that through a couple of my friends that back then in the university, they started their own businesses. So I was really drawn to photography, because that was like that's when Instagram also was slowly picking up. So I could see how creating good photography could bring me some sort of a revenue. So I left. I dropped out of university. I think it was like 3 months before graduation of my fine arts degree. As I sold everything I had, and I remember one of my friends was he had a photography studio in a very old, abandoned warehouse in London, in Hackney Wick, and I visited them, and I was very impressed to see that he's doing something. He started, and there was one more unit next to his, which was free, and it was an old motorcycle, like sort of a garage in a warehouse, and I thought, why not? I'll do it myself. So I spent all my money and spent whole summer in that was 2013 with myself and my family, my brother and my girlfriend at the time, uh, working on that unit, working on that warehouse, and painting it, fixing the floor, removing all the graffiti, putting on door because they had no door. And I remember I lived there for 2 years with my girlfriend, literally in the warehouse, and I was running a photography studio, and it was so hard because I left my job back then. Also, I was working in bars, I was working in pubs. I left my job and I fully focused just on that craft of running a photography business. And very quickly, I found it was harder than I expected. So that's like the start. My photography studio was the first business.
And what will be the next between the studio and Keplo?
Okay, so
You continue like a photographer and create some content, or do more services?
so very quickly, I understood the power of marketing and to know the right people, networking, and literally selling yourself. Because I knew I was good. I knew like I had all the equipment, I have a studio, but I wasn't really making any money. So I really invested in just getting to know as many people as possible in the industry. And slowly the business picked up. And back then I started taking pictures for clients that were running Amazon businesses, and they would keep coming back. They would keep coming back. So that kind of draw my attention to this e-commerce world. And one of those clients asked me, you take pictures, how about you do some graphics? I knew basics, so why not? But I was still doing a lot of photography back then. I was traveling around. We partnered up with actually that friend. We traveled around the world, taking pictures of watches, very expensive watches. So I traveled the world back then. Lived the photographer's lifestyle. You can imagine camera and traveling from east to west, and then finally settled on the fact that it was time to establish a brand, establish a studio, and I put all my money on the whole Amazon thing. So I said, okay, let's create the best creative studio for Amazon sellers specifically. Let's learn the craft and be the best. And I was very lucky because a couple of those clients that I picked up early in 2013 turned to be very, very successful 8-figure sellers later on. So I was able to join the team, join the internal team, and build my own capabilities, my own team around their needs. And from one person shop in probably that was 2016, 2017 by then, we turned the business to a 7-figure creative agency with 26 people at one point in 2022. And we decided to move to Warsaw to establish a new studio because London was a bit too expensive. And then we got acquired by Titan Network in 2022, 10 years later. And that was kind of like the linear progression from the beginning of the idea to the final exit in 22.
Got it. Got it. Sounds very interesting because I think everyone for us we have a very interesting journeys how we come to the ecom world, because it's absolutely you start with photo and then start to work with Amazon sellers, and can you tell us about what was the biggest challenges when you start work with the ecom world? And maybe it's worse to find a client or different challenges, and how you overcome them.
The biggest challenges, I guess, are it's a balance between the craft and being known and being heard. I guess, let me think about this. From entrepreneur's perspective, you have to say no to a lot of things. You need to close a lot of doors. So there's probably many ideas that you have as an entrepreneur. Ideas are cheap. I always say ideas are cheap. Execution is really expensive. So it's all about focus. It's all about saying, okay, I'm going to do this one thing right now, and I'm going to do the best I can to my possibility. And I'm not going to do it from 9 to 5 because it's not a day job. I'm going to put all my efforts every single waking hour to focus on that one goal. And that was hard because I think as an entrepreneur, especially as a creative person, we tend to have this squirrel syndrome, I call it. Is, you do something and you come up with an idea and you go squirrel, like, and you
Yeah.
kind of run from idea to another, and that's bad. That hurts your business. So I guess focusing on that one thing and being disciplined is the one biggest lesson for me.
Very interesting. But what about the mistakes? Of course, for this all of your journey, you make some mistakes. Maybe you waste money on some investment of advertising channel or something like this. Can you share this information with us?
Oh yeah, mistakes. I think the biggest mistakes are partnerships. You in your
Really?
Yes, in the partnerships in business, like very
Okay.
specific. So in the journey, you're gonna, and I've seen this in my business and my clients' businesses and everyone else's, in the past, 10 years, 11 years, is you're gonna let people in. You're gonna trust people, but it's really hard to align on the vision long term. It's basically getting married, but you're gonna have the same bank account. You're gonna have the same. It's probably even more. Like, the only thing is you're not gonna have it's like physical kids, but the business is your kid.
Yeah.
So date date with your partners for as long as you can, and then when you make that decision to get married with your partners, just make sure that you do all the paperwork properly, that you establish some ground rules, that you understand, both of you understand the vision long term, because that's one of the things that I think I regret not paying a lot of attention, because I had few partners from the beginning and it always backfired, and it always put me back the business at least a couple of years back, when it didn't work out. So right now, when I go into partnerships, and currently I am when it comes to Keplo, I am in a business partnership. I do approach it completely different. So that's definitely the biggest lesson, the biggest mistake, is letting people in too early and trusting, based on some very surface knowledge of them and decisions.
Very interesting. I never thought about this side, but I agree with you because I also had experience where it was not a good experience, but yeah, it's very interesting side because always my guests that tell us about some I don't know some advertising channel or something like this, or just we don't do any mistakes because it's a life of a learning, it's a lesson, but it's very interesting. But maybe you can remember something more, something not the biggest, maybe something small, because
Something
as a
small.
creative person, I think it's for example, on the last my podcast, I spoke with Dano. I think you know Dana Falk,
Hmm.
and he also very creative person. And he told me this phrase. I I can't stop to think about it. That expectation and reality about the business, it's absolutely different. And for example, if you're the creative person, your expectation that when you start your own business, you will create a lot, but business, it's about sales. You need to understand in one day, you understand that you're not creative person anymore. You need to sell your business, grow your business, optimize everything, and sell. It's not about the creative side. Maybe you have also your opinion about this point because you're also creative person. And yeah.
Yeah, I see where that could come from. I partly agree with this. It's, I guess, if you come in as a creative person and you come in as a vision, that's also a good lesson. I can basically run with this theme, and I think this is a really good um, thing that I also learned and mistake. Yes, I agree. When there's going to be a point in your business where the stuff that you really cared about and the stuff that you really passionate in doing are going to decide. So especially as a creative person, if you like creating things and working on projects, The moment you have a team of 10 people, 15, you're no longer working as much on those projects and being creative. You become a manager.
Yeah.
And there's that break point, and it's really painful, because you kind of are still within the project, you're still managing your clients because they're still yours, but at the same time you have, you're growing on you're working on the marketing, you're growing team, you have people issues, you have managing people, and it's very stressful, and it's very it can basically put you off. So it's really important, and I think that's a good lesson. And I think if people feel this way, is they should work on the fact that it's time for you to bring the right type of people and work out the right type of workflows and processes for you to still be involved, because at the end of the day you are still the vision maker, you are still the top creative in your team. So make sure that whatever you do in your day-to-day business, there's still time for you to create and lead the big vision. You probably won't have time to work on the small projects and clients, but if you find yourself only managing and working in your business, that's going to kill your business also. That's not good. So
Of course. Yeah.
there's that balance where you have to manage, you have to work with people, but don't don't think that this is it. Find time, find the right people that will support you, especially like um, you can find a COO, director of operations, you can find some sort of managers that would take off some of that load, or build a marketing around you, so you
Yeah,
can still.
delegate a lot of deals from another people because it helped to grow. Yeah, I think it's absolutely impossible to scale your business if you don't delegate a lot of things, because it's for one people it's too much.
Yeah, and so this is the mistake I've done here, is I hired creative directors
Yeah.
for my business, thinking, all right now I'm just too busy. I have 26 people. I won't be able to do any creative work. I just need to focus on growing the business and looking at spreadsheets and marketing and just managing people. And I hired very expensive creative directors. But the thing is, they didn't share my vision. They didn't share my passion either. It wasn't their baby. And I had to let them go very quickly. I learned that no one else can do this job. No one else. It's only me. So it's up to me right now to say, okay, the one thing I need to let go of is the management. I need to let go of the marketing. I need to step into the driving seat and free up my time. So that's how that was a lesson, because that was hurting my business very slowly. Letting someone in as a creative director, as a creative lead in the business.
Yeah, I think it's very important to understand what kind of role you can delegate or not, because I absolutely agree with you. Other creative person, uh, they can't feeling everything like you. For example, if you work with a lot of designers and someone you feel the same vibe, you don't need a lot of words. You understand
Yeah.
each other and etc. But with someone you can build your work at all, and it's so hard. And it's
Yeah.
very important to find the right people, and if you understand that it's not right people, very fast to say sorry, but we have another ways. And yeah.
Yeah. And hire, so you probably heard this one: hire very slow, fire
Yeah.
very fast. So that's one thing
Yeah.
that I'm a people pleaser. I always was. So it was really hard for me to make those first hard decisions. But very quickly I've learned, if it doesn't work out, just let them go as soon as possible. And
Yeah.
it sounds bad, but it's also for good of the other person, because
Of course.
they can move on quickly, and they can find
Yeah.
the right job for them. Because it doesn't have to be a personality issue. It could be
Mhm.
literally a skill issue. The skill is actually not suited for that role. So by making that decision very quickly, it's you helping both sides. So that's also one of the things that I've made mistakes a lot of times. I would keep people for too long.
Yeah, I agree with you with this point because the good employee and good person is two different people sometimes, and we always need to think about the business side. If we see that this person not good for our project, we need to help our project to grow and these people to find something who will be more better for them. I absolutely agree with you. Okay. Now you start the Keplo, and this is an absolutely amazing idea. This is about the data and some future and technology. And with what challenges you face it
Right
when you,
now,
yes, right now, when you create the idea, when you start your first steps, and maybe now. I think it will be interesting because you are at the beginning and you have a great background. Yes, but you create something absolutely new. And of course, you're faced with different challenges, and I think it's very interesting point.
yeah. So Kepler idea really came from the fact that I knew it's time to do something else, something new. Uh, if you stay like the world is moving really quickly, it's spinning around, right? And we've seen the last couple of years, it's just insane what's happening. So your business should be evolving, as especially as you in the driving seat, you should always be lookout for the new technologies. New technologies drive innovation, they always have. The invention of the wheel, the industrial revolution, internet, social media, every single technology that comes and disrupts is driving innovation. It's creating new businesses, but it's also killing a lot of businesses on its way. So it's your role as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as a director of your company to look out for those technologies and assess, is this something that's going to help us? Is this a threat? And then it's time for you to pivot. So with AI, I see a massive potential. It's if a dot-com boom happened again, right? If that happened, that type of invention happened again, what would you do? You would jump on that ship. But that's what's happening right now. And the fact that AI came for the creative first, which for me that was scary. It's like, oh my god! When the first time I saw Mid-Journey images, I remember a couple of years back on holiday, I was like, this is coming at us, creative. And creativity is probably one of the most most intense thing that a human can do, and most original, and it came after us first. So as a creative entrepreneur, it's our role right now to assess this and to get familiar with this technology, because it's not going to go anywhere. And Kepler is basically one of those experiments for me, whereas I need to see how it's going to work, whether it's going to work, and can it be useful, and can it be usable. And I'm going to use the knowledge, and I'm going to use my skills, I'm going to use my connections in the industry to test it. And I guess the biggest challenge, going back to your question right now, is learning new things, basically erasing and forgetting everything that we've learned, forgetting and learning again. So literally rebuilding your business. So I've decided to completely walk away from the business that I was running. I dropped everything, every single client. I've dropped every single everything I've built for the past 10 years. And I said, okay, it's time to rebuild. So that's the hardest thing, is to, where do I start? So finding the time, it's hard, but it's also very, very exciting. It's like, wow, here's my time to shine again. So every morning I wake up and I'm pumped, because I know today I'm going to learn something new.
Yeah,
So
and you have a power to do everything because it's I can imagine what kind of volume of work you did when you start, because it's wow, you need to do 1,000 things per day, but you have a power when you believe in your idea.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's super exciting because you wake up and sometimes something new happens, or something, there's a new invention every week, and you're like, oh wow, I can use this, I can try this. So that's hard, but it's also exciting. But at the same time, I can use all the skills that I've learned regarding building teams, regarding running businesses, looking for clients, establishing the brand, um, building a long-term vision, finding the right partners, investors, and building the team around me to support me. So the skills that I built when I was running the agency, I can move them over to Keplo. But then I need to build the new ones. I'm learning programming. I'm learning Python, so I know what my team is talking about. I have to understand, if when I'm talking to my backend developer and working my front end developer, or I'm talking to my data scientist, I need to learn all these things. So very quickly, when I left the agency, I enrolled myself into MIT data science program. So I was like, I need to dive into this. So from a creative person, I had to learn maths again. I had to learn Python. I had to learn all these data science workflows that for me was really hard. But at the same time, I have reset it completely, and I can see the two worlds right now. I can see the world of data, AI,
Mhm.
and also I know the world of creativity. And it's my and our team's job right now to see if there's can we build a bridge between those two. So uh, it's just to summarize, it's unlearning things. I need to be comfortable with it. So forget all your biases, forget all your, everything that you've learned, because it could be, it's probably not, most of the stuff that you've learned is not going to work in 10 years time, because we're going to be in a completely different world.
Yeah. And okay, I have one tricky questions as a creative person. And I think you also notice there's a lot of discussion and some memes and Instagram and etc. that designers and content makers, a lot of this part of this creative person think that in future they will be without the work because AI technology can do everything without a human. What do you think about this? This is a solution who can help the designers and content maker, or in future they can do everything without us.
That's yeah, it is a scary question, and I guess the answer is not going to be as nice. But I think as nice as you would expect. I think there's some truth in that. And what do I mean by it? You probably also heard this quote when people say AI is not going to take your job, but the person using AI will.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so so what we're going to see is people that really dive into the technology right now, the creatives, and get really familiar with it, and build those tools and build the workflows, AI workflows around the craft, around the business, will be able to take on the 10 times amount of business they used to. So they will automate a lot of the stuff that they needed people for, or they needed, additional help. So one creative with the power of AI and all those technologies will do a job of 10 hours, and will be much cheaper also. So yes, a lot of creatives will lose their jobs, um, will lose their clients to those that can use those tools to
And
automate
we, yeah.
a lot of workflows. So if you want to use these tools, and you're excited about this future, and you say yes to AI, you say yes to the revolution, you'll be fine.
I
Uh,
agree with you
the
absolutely.
worst you can do is ignore it and say, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you because it's of course it's help with some small details or optimize your time when you do research or something like this. Use Keplo when you need to do the research for your customers, for example,
Yeah.
and generate some idea. But of course, yeah, absolutely agree with you because we always need to be on trend.
Yeah.
And our trend and our reality that it's AI technology, it's everywhere. And I don't know, I use ChatGPT, it's my best friend because sometimes sometimes I need to generate some, I don't know, LinkedIn post for the NORDINARY page. Oh my god, I don't have time for this. ChatGPT generate for this topic, and I change some phrase or something like this, and I don't spend 2 hours for this. I
Yeah.
spend 5 minutes, and I think this is the best solution. And of course,
Exactly.
yeah, and of course you need to optimize everything, and it will help you to do your job faster and better because yeah.
Yeah, it's like your assistant. It's like your personal assistant, and you can train it, and you know exactly how to do. So AI without you is useless, right?
Yes.
So without Arena, this ChatGPT is useless.
Nothing, yeah. They
Nothing.
generate something about, I don't know, some about the weather in Latvia, but it's not that I need. I
Yeah.
need to create the right technical task about the topic, volume, and etc. 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 And the final result, I get what I want. But first step is to understand and create a technical task for any AI technology, I guess. It's not only a chat GPT. If we speak about the texts, I think it's about everything. We need to
Yeah.
understand what we need to find or
You,
did.
Yeah, you steer it the right way. You basically
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
"This is one. Here's a bit of information. How, let's work on this. Or here's an extra additional information. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a bad idea. Let's work on this. Let's dive deep in." So you steer it the right way, and you can automate this, and you can repeat this task. Let's say you have 10 clients right now, and you work in those AI workflows. If someone told you right now you're really busy and it's helping you with ChatGPT and you have your workflows, if someone told you right now, "Oh, AI is going away," you'll be like, "Oh my God, now I need to work twice as hard." So even that tells you, like,
Yeah, I know one interesting case that the web designers, it's in Latvian company, one of Latvian company. My colleague told me about this that some client asked, I need they are the car distributor like BMW, Mini Cooper, and etc. And they need to create the new website and logo with octopus. And the creative team think, oh my god, how we can include octopus for the car brand, car distribution company. It's like, and they use AI technology, and chat gpt create the 20 reason why it's not a good idea. And then they sold this for the client, and chat gpt generates some idea what will be better, and all creative team do some filter, and as a result they do a great project without octopus.
so let me ask you a question. So you in the branding space, what what's the best case right now for AI when it comes to branding?
This is interesting question. We just start testing with my team the AI technology with some small things. For example, generate some text, or if we don't have some idea, for example, like the similar case that I told you before. But we're testing the different product. I found a large list of the useful AI technology for the designers and web designers, and share with my team, and we just start to testing all of them because we need to be on trend. We need to find what kind the AI platform will be more useful for us.
Gotcha. What was it really bad at?
Yeah, absolutely. But
What,
at the moment I can tell you
what's
what
the,
what will be the best or not, because we just testing. I'll be back on a few months about it, because it's AI technology, it's very fast, and
Yeah,
with every new project we add more and more AI technology, because it's, of course, it's about the time optimization, and it's very important thing, because where you have a creative team, you need to always think about the time and deadlines, because creative team can generate, oh my god, thousand and thousand idea, and you need to optimize everything and
yeah,
help to create something more
yeah,
faster, and not to, not to, mm, you always need to create a few examples for the client. You don't need to show thousand, because client, it's so hard for people who are not creative to choose something. We speak about the visuals,
yeah,
they have some idea or they don't have idea. When you work with customers, sometimes so them told, I don't know what I need, do something please good, and
yeah,
that's all. And you need to, at the moment, AI technology really help us to find more points, what is the best point, because we, in our head, we don't have a lot of data like AI technology. Yes, and when we desire choose some symbols or etc., AI technology can help us to explain why we choose this or this, with a different, with a different part of
yeah,
the data and knowledge.
yeah. So here's a really good workflow, and I guess
Yeah.
answer to that is you as a creative director, obviously you have creatives working for you. So it's mostly their job to get familiar with AI and those
Yeah.
technologies because they need to come to you with hundreds of ideas. They need to come. So
Absolutely.
they get a brief, they load the brief and information and work with the AI and between us, and they need to come to you with, let's say, I don't know, 50 logo ideas. And now for you, Arina, you are the creative director. It's you are the filter between your team and the client. So it's your job right now to filter those 50 ideas to the three top ones. And you don't need and you shouldn't to be honest, you shouldn't use AI for that part. Certain things can be do with AI, and this is basically your experience, your knowledge of the product and the market and the category to say, these are the top three ideas, and these are the top three ideas we're going to present to the client. And very clear, then
Yeah,
the client can't see, as you said, the client can't see 50 or 100 ideas. They only care about the top three. And then it's your job to really defend those three and say every single one of those is the best we could have
think, yeah,
come up with. None of these three can be worse than the other because it's our job as creative to give the top ideas our team and we
absolutely.
can
Collect
possibly come with.
everything and give the something on the top. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
And thanks AI technology, they little bit help us.
Yeah.
At the moment. Okay, can you, at the end of our podcast, because I think you tell us a lot of very interesting information, and you ask question for me. It's the first time when when my guest ask question for me also. And what can you recommend for the new entrepreneur, or the people who just want to start their business or start, and when you start, sometimes you have a like, breakdown because when we start we always super inspired and etc, and in one day you understand that it's a little bit change. It's about the expectation and reality. What can you recommend for the people in the business and who just want to start?
If
Long
you
story short.
Long story short, if you want to start, I'll go back to what you said at the beginning. It's 100% focus and dedication. Um, you you probably have hundreds of ideas. You probably think all of them are great. Close those doors and just go through one of those because what you're gonna realize when you open that one door, there's another hundred.
Yeah,
So really focus, really dedicate, and just put in the extra hours. And doesn't matter, if every day is not perfect, doesn't matter if every day you haven't done what you wanted and you haven't moved the needle as much as you want. Just dedication every single day. Unfortunately, this comes with a lot of sacrifices. Um, and if you're an entrepreneur and if you want to build a business, you have to understand this is not a 9 to 5 job. It isn't. And if you're looking for a 9 to 5, or if you're looking for a laptop job, like, we glamorize hustling, we glamorize entrepreneurship with those people, with laptops on the beach, saying, oh, I work 4 hours a week.
No.
If you want to be entrepreneur, that's not what you're gonna do. 100%, because I've known a lot of 8-figure sellers, entrepreneur, and they had the money, but they worked twice as hard as me. So just be prepared for the hassle, be prepared for all those sacrifices, and just focus and grind. And there's going to be a moment when you're going to look back and you're going to say, I made it. And that feeling is going to be better than that, picture of a laptop on the beach.
Absolutely, and give you the power to do more and more and more. Because when I think it's the main idea of when you build your business and etc. Of course, it's you very close to burning out.
Yeah.
But when you feel the first result, you have more and more power to do it. And when you choose your right way, of course, you sometimes you choose something wrong, but I think this is everyday work at the entrepreneur. Every day you need to choose something.
Yeah.
Choose the way, choose the sales channel, choose the partner, and etc. etc. And you need to be ready for that. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Dorian. I think it was very interesting conversation, and hope see you soon in our podcast. And maybe in this year you will have some more idea. And of course, I wish you good luck to the Keplo. I will be happy to testing maybe in future. And thank you so much that you join us today.
Thank you, Arina. And yeah, we launch in beta actually in a couple of weeks. So anyone that wants to try Keplo, go to keplo.com and tell me how crap it is, because it's going to make it better. I'll fix all the issues. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, I really did enjoy talking to you.